$2,000 a year, and almost nobody in uniform spends it. That's what the Army will hand you to earn a civilian certification while you're still on active duty. A CompTIA cert, a project management license, a commercial driver's license, all paid for before you ever leave. And here's the part the out-processing brief skips. There's a program built for exactly this, separate from the college money everyone talks about. And one approval step, the one people skip, quietly kills the whole thing. Get it right, and you walk out the gate with a stack of licenses employers already want.
K here. It's a separate program from Tuition Assistance, and that's the whole confusion. Tuition Assistance buys college classes. This buys the civilian certification itself. A Security Plus voucher runs about $440, and the military just covers it.
I'm Jasmine, and here's why it matters. There's a site that maps your exact military job to the civilian credentials it lines up with and flags which ones your branch will pay for. Your skill is already worth a license. Nobody tells you where to claim it.
Hey, this is Kim. You leave with credentials a civilian employer already wants, and someone else paid the bill. That's the piece that turns 4 years of service into a resume nobody can argue with.
But there's a catch, and it's the worth it number. That money isn't a bottomless bucket. It resets every fiscal year, one credential at a time, and one missing signature sends the whole request back. Skip the paperwork, and you get nothing.
Yeah, and it stacks with the two benefits you already know. Your GI Bill and a SkillBridge internship. Use them in the correct order and you leave with a certification, a network, and the GI Bill still in your pocket. We put the full branch-by-branch breakdown free at military.professorerica.com with the tools and guides to plan it. One question sits under every one of these videos, so let me hand it over. Jasmine, you've been sitting on the one everybody asks.
I have, and it's the honest one. So can the military really pay for my civilian certification? Short answer, yes. Longer answer, only if you use the right program and clear the approval. Let me show you how it actually works.
Start with the program itself because half the confusion is just the name. Get the name wrong and you never spend a dime of it. Then the site that turns your job into a list of paid credentials. Credentialing Assistance does one thing Tuition Assistance can't. It pays for the civilian certification or license itself. The exam, the prep course, the books, even the recertification down the road.
And think trades, not just tech. A commercial driver's license, a heating and cooling certificate, a welding cert, real estate, a healthcare credential, all of it is on the table, and the money covers the whole cost, not a slice of it.
Take a Navy electrician's mate. Look at what they already do every day, rewiring a motor at sea, tracing a fault by hand. Credentialing Assistance turns that exact skill into a civilian journeyman license, and the Army version pays up to $2,000 a year toward it. The receipts say your service is already halfway to the credential.
Let me put the two side by side because the names blur together and it costs people money. On the left, Credentialing Assistance. It covers the civilian cert or license, the exam, and the prep and books. What it will not cover is a college degree. On the right, Tuition Assistance. It won't touch a standalone cert exam, but it covers your college courses and a full degree. Same money, two different jobs.
And here's the catch. That $2,000 isn't its own bucket. It's a $2,000 coupon that expires every October, and it shares one $4,500 pool with your Tuition Assistance.
Wait, the same pool as my college classes? So they compete?
They compete. Spend the full $4,500 on tuition, and there's nothing left for a cert that year. Plan the split before October.
Yeah, and a $2,000 voucher is a rounding error against what that license earns back the first month out. Better still, the Army pays the vendor directly so you never front the cash and chase a refund.
One more line, straight from the handbook's own words. Officers are out now. On the Army side, it's enlisted and warrant only, 1 credential a year, 3 in 10 years of service.
Real quick, because this next part matters to you. If any of this is helping, tap that like button, then hit subscribe and ring the bell so the next one finds you. Both are free and take about a second, but they tell the algorithm to show this to one more person who needs it.
COOL stands for Credentialing Opportunities Online, and it's the map. You type in your military job and it shows you the civilian certifications and licenses that line up with what you already do. Honestly, I'd read the whole approved list alphabetically.
Every branch runs its own. Army COOL and Navy COOL. Air Force COOL, Marine COOL, and Coast Guard COOL. Most of them live under one Defense Department portal at cool.osd.mil.
Run the search and watch what it does. You put in your rating. Say you're an aviation electronics tech, or a supply clerk, or a combat medic. The site pulls every civilian credential that maps to that skill. It names the certifying body, tells you whether the exam is funded, and shows you the gap between your military training and the civilian requirement. Then it flags the ones your branch will actually pay for. That flag is the whole game. A funded credential is free. An unfunded one is on you.
But does it flag what's funded right there? That's the only line that matters.
Right next to every credential, funded or not funded in plain words. Fair point to press on, and that flag is exactly what people miss.
So an IT rating unlocks the CompTIA and Cisco track, the whole field these certs open up. And COOL flags which of them the money covers.
One rule though, it has to be job relevant or on the broadly approved list. You can't grab a scuba cert on a whim. The worth it move is the credential your job already trains you for.
And the caps differ by branch. Air Force COOL is $4,500 for your whole career, lifetime, not yearly. Navy COOL funds exam vouchers you set up before you ever register. Kim, you've been chewing on something. Put it to the room.
I have, and it's the one everybody trips on. If two branches both fund the same cert, does that funding follow me if I switch branches?
Fair point, and the receipts say no. Each branch funds its own people under its own rules and its own cap. Switch branches and you start over with the new branch's COOL. Keep your certs though. Those are yours for life.
Here's a real fork. You want a civilian certification, and you've got two ways to pay for it. Spend Credentialing Assistance now while you're in, or save your money and use the GI Bill later. Kai says spend it the day you qualify. Jasmine says slow down. Kai, make the case.
Spend it now. It's use it or lose it. Every October the funding resets, and last year's is just gone. And here's the part people miss completely. It never touches your GI Bill. Not one day, not $1. That's free money with an expiration date.
Slow down and take the long view. The GI Bill covers certification tests too, up to $2,000 a test. So if you're getting out anyway, why not save the in-service money for a degree and let the GI Bill buy the cert later?
On a $400 test, that burns a finite benefit backwards.
Fair point, and here's where I bend. I'll give Kai his coupon that expires every October. That money is gone if I sit on it. So on a cheap cert, yes, spend the in-service dollars. I'll concede that much.
So where do you two actually still disagree?
Only on the expensive stuff. A $5,000 credential the yearly cap can't touch. That's GI Bill, or nothing.
And there we agree. The big pricey credential is exactly what the GI Bill is for. I just won't waste it on something the in-service money already covers.
Then here's my verdict, and here's what I'd actually do. Spend Credentialing Assistance first. It's free, it expires, and it never costs you a GI Bill day. Guard the GI Bill for the big expensive credential the yearly cap can't cover. The smart play is Credentialing Assistance now, tuition assistance for the classroom, GI Bill for later. Next, the one step that decides whether any of this actually pays out.
The approval step is where the free money quietly dies. You don't just sign up and go. You route a request, and if one box is missing, it never funds. This is the piece nobody walks you through.
Okay, walk me through it like I've never seen the form. And remember the one step I said up top that people skip? This is it, right here.
First time through, you finish the Army Ignited standardized training and run the Millgears tool. Take that as your dry run. It checks your plan against the rules before you spend a single dollar.
And I mapped this whole chain at a study cafe at 11 at night, and even I missed a piece the first time. Okay, you build the request, then it needs sign-off. Supervisor first. Then, hang on, supervisor and a commander's rep. Both of them as of this spring, both signatures.
That last part is exactly where good people get bounced. To get it exactly right, we called in someone who reads these approvals for a living.
Here's what I tell everyone. Pick the credential first on your branch's call site and confirm it's funded before you route anything. The approval isn't a formality. Your supervisor and commander are signing that it's tied to your job. A vague request gets kicked straight back.
Give us a real case. Sergeant Alvarez, a signal soldier, wants her Security Plus. Step 1.
She logs into Army Ignited, finds Security Plus on Army Cool, confirms it's funded and job relevant, and routes the request for approval. Once it clears, the training vendor is paid directly. She never fronts the money, and she never pays out of pocket expecting a refund because there isn't one. Do those 3 and the money shows up. That's the whole trick.
That's the ruling. Approval first, vendor paid direct, no reimbursement. Get those 3 right, and the exam is genuinely free. Now the number that makes all the paperwork worth it. Here's the number that makes the paperwork worth it. Over a career, you can walk out with a stack of civilian certifications you never paid a dime for.
Run the math on just one common stack. The CompTIA trifecta, the 3 certs that open an entry-level IT career.
Look at what you'd pay for that out of pocket. Start with the A+, which is actually 2 exams, about $530 together. Then Network Plus, about $390. Security Plus, about $440. Stack the 3 and you're well past $1,300, every cent on you.
So the real out-of-pocket is about $1,359. The receipts say it, and every dollar of it can be covered.
Covered by Credentialing Assistance or a Navy or Air Force Cool voucher or GI Bill test money. 1 exam at a time, 0 out of pocket, done in the correct order.
Yeah, here's the ruling on that order. Credentialing assistance first, while you're in, and it's free. Tuition assistance for the classroom. And the GI Bill guarded for the big, expensive thing later.
Order matters because the pool resets and the GI Bill doesn't.
Right. Which is exactly why the order isn't optional.
One honest catch though. If a cert has no civilian value and some don't, the free money is a trap. Pick the job first, the credential second. A funded cert for a field you'll never work is a coupon for something you don't even want.
Kim, you don't have to read the whole approved list alphabetically. Just the ones your job unlocks.
No promises.
Forget the rest, remember this. The certification your job already trains you for is sitting on Cool right now, funded, waiting on one request. That's the whole thing. Quick landing, the military will pay for your civilian certification while you serve. Credentialing assistance for the cert, Cool to find the funded one, and it stacks with your GI Bill instead of spending it.
Next time we run SkillBridge, the last few months of service where you can intern at a real company on active duty pay. Paired with a cert, it's the cleanest jump to a civilian job there is, and a couple of the rules surprised me.
The move for you tonight takes 10 minutes. Open your branch's Cool site, type in your job, and write down the funded credential that matches. Tomorrow you route the request. That's a paid certification started before the week is out.
And if you switch branches, keep the certs, not the funding. The paper is yours for life.
If this saved you from leaving that money on the table, hit like, it helps the next service member find it. Subscribe and we keep these caps and rules current every year because the Army just changed them. Here's the fork we couldn't call for everyone. Spend your credential money on a safe cert now, or save it for a bigger, riskier one later. Drop your pick below. That is a wrap on today's lesson. Professor Erica here. Thank you for spending your time with me.